here are some measurements for triple time stamping that I have used and figured out the measurements for. You can totally wing it and do your own style, your own measurements. Here I have cardstock number 1, all the pieces cut out. I have a black layer and then a beige layer. The beige layer is going to be for the blending and the stamping. So I'm separating those, and I'm going to go and use a glue tape to attach the 3 pieces of the beige cardstock. You could use repositionable tape as well. I don't have any, so I'm using this glue runner and pressing it onto my shirt so it's a little less sticky. Made a little boo-boo. So I have to add a little bit more tape. I went a little bit too crazy with the unstickifying, if that's a word. So done with that, now onto the fun, the blending of inks. So I have distress ink that I have used, and I've just made my own sponges. And I will put a little paper topper on it, a staple, so I know which one's which, wrote the name on it. Now those are the Ranger blending tools. So I'm going to start off with Distress Oxide inks, using the pink Worn Lipstick, blue Broken China, and a yellow, which is called Fossilized Amber. Pretty much primary colors. I blend them together and they'll obviously look really good together. And on this piece I ended up with a little blue spot that came off my finger, so it would be wise to have some paper towel handy, baby wipe, to kind of keep your fingers clean. So I have to try to blend that out, but it will be kind of camouflaged in the end because you're going to add black stamps on top, and also if you spray with water with the Distress Oxide, it creates a reaction and leaves a really cool effect. Also too, if you notice that the corners are kind of lifting up a little bit, because when you're blending you sometimes bump into the corners. Try not to worry about it too much, because when you are done your blending and stamping, you will put the black layer underneath. So just add some tape that goes, or glue that goes to those corners to flatten them out. It'll look good, no matter what happens. Going in, blend, blend, blend. It's really fun. Every time you do it, it's a little different. I always start off the page and then go onto the paper. With the Distress inks, that's very important to start off the paper and then work onto the paper in little round circles. With the oxides, they blend a little bit better together. So here is the Distress inks. So I have a blue. I'm showing an example of the one that I did. I'm kind of trying to follow the same kind of layout pattern that I've done. So blue is Salty Ocean, the red is Festive Berries, and I have Vintage Photo, but you could also use tea dye or a yellow or whatever colors that you have. Just gotta be careful with the Distress inks because it can make mud if you have too many colors that don't go together. With the oxides, you don't really have to worry about that too much. They blend really nice together. Yeah, these homemade sponges that I made, they work really good. I bought a sponge, a round sponge from the dollar store, and cut them up and made my own blending sponges. Going back in with the blue. It's really fun and satisfying. My daughter actually made a card using distress inks. The same kind of style, triple time stamping, and she did really good. I'll show an example, or show you her card later. Now adding some little bit of vintage photo, kind of gives it a vintage old look. But it looks nice. Still looks nice. The finished card looks really good. I've already finished making all the cards and doing the stamping. I need a little bit more vintage photo. And a bit more blue. Looking at it, I'm like, no, not quite there yet. Next is a different style of sizes of paper. I think it might be the third style that I showed. And I'm using a craft color cardstock. It's really interesting how the Distress Oxide works on other colors of cardstock. You can even use black, gray cardstock. You can use whatever color you have. It doesn't have to be white. With the Distress inks, it might not look as good on brown because it doesn't have that pigment. Because oxides are a mix of dye and pigment. So the colors I'm using is Worn Lipstick, Cracked Pistachio, and Wilted Violet. I don't really have a plan of what I'm doing, just blending colors that look good together. Using colored cardstock actually kind of gives it a different kind of look. Done with that one. On to the next. This one here, I have some scraps. The two pieces that I have in the middle are kind of scraps. So I'm just gonna go and put them in a really kind of funky configuration. And using 4 colors, and I didn't know what I was going to do with this one. Just winged it. Using Cracked Pistachio, Broken China, Peeled Paint, and Fossilized Amber. It looks like a waterfall. It looks really cool. So I'm using a paper towel. I kind of got smart so I wouldn't get fingerprints. Just using paper towel to kind of hold the paper down. This card, I kind of had a love and hate relationship with it. Loving it, not really loving it. But it ends up turning really nice anyways. Especially when you go spray it with water and you do that reaction with the water. And then, after, when it's all put together with the layers, you could spray it with some sparkle spray or glitter spray. I call it sparkle spray. So it sparkles. Not done yet. I think I'm just about done. Next I'll show you when I spray some water onto it and kind of dry it off with a heat tool. There, done. So I have a spray bottle, hairspray bottle, that I rinsed out a few times, and it has a nice little mist. I like reusing and repurposing stuff. It's cheaper. So paper towel to blot off any extra water. Works really good. Here's the other two. Give them your spray. Blot off the extra water. Dry it off a bit. The next fun part is going to be stamping all the images.